Hello, everybody. What's up? Happy Easter to all y'all. I just literally walked in the dang door. Ding dang door, huh? It's Sunday night. I'm here with you in the Dividend Dive. We're live and wouldn't be anywhere else but spending this with you guys. So I literally just how many times is this guy gonna say literally? I literally do not know. But I just walked in the door from my in-laws' house. I hope all of you had Easter celebrations with friends, family, that special someone, hopefully, that you spent the holiday with. But Adam, Pat, Whiskey Tango, what's up, all y'all, and for all of you that celebrate. So, thank you for stopping on by. We'll talk about whatever you want to talk. Hey, I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little bit. I don't know, out of sorts maybe. I just walked in the door a few minutes ago. So I just threw on the camera and here we go. Away we go. John, I appreciate that NXRT. I hadn't heard of this REIT before. John sent me an email and it looks like an apartment REIT, I guess. So, we can chit chat about that. I love it. It rhymes. I'm not even trying and it's rhyming. We're starting off hot. Making sure everything's set up here. You guys can hear me, right? Yeah, Pat with the newsletter. Is WrestleMania tonight, Chris? I don't know. I did Google something earlier and I saw WrestleMania 41 was trending. And I was like, oh my God, that must tell me that I'm getting old. So actually, if you don't know, today is a very special day because it is the birthday of Don Mattingly. Happy birthday, Don Mattingly, Carmen Electra, the now departed Luther Vandross. Not so notable, Adolf Hitler's birthday is today. We also have a bevy of other stars and actresses like Jessica Lange. Happy birthday, Jessica Lange. We salute you. So it's also my birthday today, too. I turned 47, if you can believe that nonsense. And WrestleMania 41, I think, right? I remember watching WrestleMania 2. I don't really remember 1. It's a little fuzzy. 2, I remember. 3, good time. So, all right, Bubber, I know back. Oh, I thought you were yelling at me to get back to the channel, okay? So, yes, I know there's a thing about people will only care to hear about as much of you as it relates directly to them. So, with that being said, what have you guys bought this last week? It was a short week. What are you buying? We always want to hear it. I like hearing ideas from you guys, like John with your NXRT. But if I can't give a little bit of PSA, a little word to the wise here. Yesterday evening, I was going to say my esteemed wife, but I think that's esteemed colleagues, right? Can your wife be esteemed? That's what happens when you say something off-putting to your wife, right? And she gets so esteemed at you, and then you're sleeping on the couch and not in your own warm bed. But we went, my esteemed colleague of a wife and I, we wanted to go to a pub, right? So we went to I should have put the video up. There's a Harry Potter shop in Chicago, right? And yeah, John, I'll talk about that in a second. Anyway, went to the Harry Potter shop. My daughter's a big Harry a big Harry Potter head. It just sounds wrong. Oh, today is 420 too, right? I don't smoke weed. I tried it several times. Believe me, I gave it the good old college try. I know I'm rambling, Kara. Hopefully that you're sticking with me. I gave smoking weed the good old college try many times in my life. Made me feel paranoid. Many times it made me feel nauseous. Made me feel like there was holes in my teeth. I can't explain that. I don't do it. But if you do it, hey, if it's a Easter and it's also 420, the weed smokers holiday, good on you. But anyway, long story short, the whole reason that there's a slot machine on the thumbnail is that Jenna and I, we went to a pub and we bought $2 old styles that we each had one, right? And then there's a game I play called Smash the Pig a couple times a year. The point is gambling. Gambling, even if you win, it was still a bad decision because the odds are so stacked against you. Tell me if I'm off base here. What do you think? But even if you win when you gamble, you still lose because you made a bad decision. But I ended up walking out of that joint $12 richer than when we went in. So it is okay, I think, to gamble. It's entertainment. Treat it like going to a movie, going to a sporting event. If you're gambling, and I did this, I had 20 bucks. I told my wife, I said, all right, I'm going to throw this 20 bucks in the slot machine. No skill other than just hitting the button. And hey, came out a bit ahead. So let's see what we got going on here, what you guys are buying. Why did the Easter Bunny hide them eggs so no one knew he married a chicken? Yeah, that's funny. I'm going to just say I don't understand that. Let's see. The Easter Bunny hid the eggs. Oh, so no one knew he married a chicken. I gotcha. I gotcha. My father-in-law, funny guy, he has something called the Easter monkey, and he used to put bananas in the tree and tell the kids that the Easter monkey visited grandpa's house. Much like the newsletter I put out this morning, I guarantee that's probably something you've never heard of. So, and anyway, yeah, thanks for the happy birthday wishes. I mean, as I told my work compatriots, I've managed to keep my heart beating for another full rotation around the sun. And since I have a 47-year streak of doing that, hey, it's a benefit to my family and to the company I work at and all of my employees that I will indeed try to keep that streak going and have my heart beat for another complete revolution around that big burning ball of gaseous gas that's in outer space. And I think it takes 8.5 minutes or so for a ray of sunshine to get to us, for us to feel that heat. Yeah. All right. If that's enough rattling and jabber-jawing at all, y'all, let's see here. Patty, what's up, man? You bought SCHD and O. I joined you in buying some more SCHD. You too, David. John, we were talking about this NXRT. It's a real estate REIT, and you had said they show free cash flow payout rate. Earnings shows negative. Free cash flow is the opposite. Yeah, I responded, did you? I hope you got it, man. Basically, you can't really use earnings. It's so capital intensive for REITs. And if Dan Weston was in here, another accountant, they could probably explain it a lot better than I do. But that's why they use adjusted funds from operations as more of more accurate metric to assess the performance of how a REIT, a real estate investment trust, is doing. For BDCs, business development companies, they have something called net investment income, right? Because they're making their money from the interest on the money that they're loaning out to private businesses or whoever it is. So as long as the net interest income, so that would show them as probably having a lot of debt and being free cash flow negative, I would assume. So yeah, John, you always want to look at adjusted funds from operations. And if you were to go into their SEC filings, I looked at their Q4 24, they showed their AFFO coverage ratio that it was sufficient. So, old frog in the throat here, huh? People tune in, they're like, God, has this guy ever shut up? All he does is talk. Yeah, so John, that's what was going on with that. Chris, what's up, man? You bought SCHD, Chevron, Google, Apple, Amazon, and NVIDIA. That's almost the whole Mag 7. Congratulations. Amazon a couple weeks. Oh my God, I'm looking. I didn't get a chance to shave. Kind of a little rough here, guys and gals. Krill and Nurse, howdy from Wisconsin. For you, not me. I'm south of you. PEBO, Rick, do tell us a little bit more. Let's slow down the motor mouth, okay? Rick, tell us a little bit more about PEBO. I think I remember. I was about to say, is that the grocery stores and strip malls? But I think that's PECO, maybe. Yeah, Prudential looks attractive. Here, Adam, I had sold, you're on the wrong side of Kevin Burgess and myself. We sold Prudential not too long ago. So how long, Yeah, what's their price right now, if you want to tell me? And don't worry if you want to look up something. We can do that. Somebody throw it in the chat. We'll also go over to Simply Safe, get their news in a little bit, a little bit more warming up. This tea's not nearly hot enough. I gave it as much as I could. On this, the first thing I did, I rolled in the door, put the kettle on, I popped the kettle on, and it's like it was 700. I'm like, oh, I can't wait any longer. It's gonna be as hot as it's gonna be. The funny thing about the tariffs not lasting long is that it's self-inflicted, right? And I'm sure you've all heard the same things I have, is that like with COVID, we didn't know what to expect. This whole nonsense with trade war and tariff and potentially destroying the dollar as the reserve currency. I don't want to get into politics, but the fact of it is that this is all self-inflicted. Like it could be in a moment's notice, completely reversed. Stock market would skyrocket. I think we've talked about that before, where we've said, look, if things get bad enough, the guy in the White House could just automatically just end it, rescind it, over, no more tariffs, whatever. And then he could claim that he fixed the stock market because it would be that rocket ship, right? Oh, and Dow. Yeah, we'll see that. Simply Safe Dividends had a write-up on Dow. And again, tariffs are affecting them. A big portion of their plastics, I think polyethylene is over toward, I think 50% is toward exported to China. That effectively just slammed the door on that. So, and then China, kind of like I was reading about NVIDIA, how they're not too worried. They're like, hey, you want to cut us off from this stuff? It's just going to light a lighted gasoline fire. No, it's going to fuel the fire of our innovation and being more reliant on ourselves. So it could be, right? For every action, there is an equal or opposite reaction, they say. And you're right. I think one of the sayings I always heard was that when you look at Vegas, you look at all the glitz and the glamour, the lights and the luxury. It was built by losers. It wasn't built by winners. So, all right, let me get caught up to you guys, right? If that was a drinking game, if this guy, every time he says, let me get caught up, you only gamble by putting your money in the market. I know you're being funny there. And there's some truth to that too, because every individual stock is inherently risky. But as Terry Smith, who runs Fundsmith, would say, you see the thoughts formulating, investing in companies that are stable, have some sort of predictable cash flow, a durable competitive advantage. It's almost like investing in a runner after they cross the finish line and won the race, or one of the first, I don't want to call them the losers. Was it Ricky Bobby that said, if you're not winning, you're losing? So you can pick the winners. Yes, there might not be as much exponential growth upward by investing in the winners, but it's pretty darn safe. Well, I don't want to throw that out there. It's not safe. Any individual stock is risky. It's not safe. Different shades on the spectrum, yeah, but Jan has bought 50 shares of SCHD. I bought 3 more. I think I'm up to 575 or something like that. OBDC and CAT for Gorilla Nurse. Gorilla Nurse. Hey, it's oh dude. Rick, thanks for me. I'm gonna drink to that one, man. Yeah. My 50th birthday, I'll be a dividend king. I'm gonna have to have some fun with that one. Dude, look at this. Dan, that's so awesome that you're there, man. Thank you. FFO adds back in depreciation to net income, which is a more accurate reflection of actual income and cash to a REIT. More to it, but yeah. Thank you, man. And by the way, if you haven't checked out Dan's channel, Dan, I really enjoyed your live stream because it felt very, I don't want to say like you didn't care, but I got the feeling like you were just saying what you wanted to say. And if it pisses people off, whatever, This is what I want to say. And that can be the refreshing thing about people like us, where this is kind of like it's a passion project. It's a labor of love. It's a side hustle. It's not our main gig. We're not solely dependent on this for our income. So if we piss people off, whatever, we can say what we want. So it's a little bit more open, right? Oh, Kevin Burgess. Buenas tardes, amigo mío. Gracias por tu, gracias por tu, I can't think of support. No. Apoyo. To apoyo. Thanks for your support. And that's enough, enough speaking the old Espanolish for that. People's Bank Corp. Ooh, regional banks. That's interesting, Rick. How you're obviously not worried about the economy taking a big dump, I guess. But we'll see. And it's madness. How can companies know what to prepare and plan for when things sometimes, it seems, change day to day? There's no future stability there. Honestly, if I was a CEO, I would just push back and say, we really don't know how to plan for this. We're going to do our best and we're going to try to navigate it, but we can't give forward guidance because we have no idea what tomorrow what is going to be, or a week from now. And right, it's like why Warren Buffett said he never gives forward guidance, because it's like trying to predict the future and you're telling analysts what they want to hear, and there's too much emphasis put on it. Company gives less guidance, stock sells off. But how many times have they beat? I've seen that before, where a company predicts lower guidance, or they'll guide lower, and then they beat that, or companies guide higher and then they underperform that. So in the long run, it's like, nobody knows what's going to happen. So, ooh, Chris bought more Target. Yeah, that was in the low 90s. Didn't that even hit 180? Or 180, 80, the 80s. I think I saw touch 89 maybe, which is crazy. So Adam bought a bunch of 3-month CDs. Now, Adam, correct me if I'm wrong, you are retired, right? There was trust damage done with tariffs. Yeah, and that's one of the big problems. I read Scott Galloway's, Professor G's, Scott Galloway's newsletter, and he said that, and we talked about this, it almost doesn't matter if China did or didn't dump a bunch of their treasuries. What matters is that the whole world now, there's a giant spotlight shining on our Achilles heel because of the damage that could be done. And yes, some damage will be done to them as well, but it's showing the world how vulnerable we are to everybody dumping our treasuries, our debt holders. Yeah, and you're right, man. And it's all about future planning and trust. And I don't know. I don't know where it's going to go. Nobody does. So, and if anybody does know the future, they're I said that wrong. I meant to say nobody knows the future. And if they do say they know the future, well, right, there's two kinds of people. Those that don't know that they don't know the future, and those that know that they don't know the future. I'd like to proudly proclaim myself in the latter camp, those that know that they don't know the future. Interesting. I think Kevin and I both sold it around 120. Wait, some ASA, John, that's a little bit too esoteric for me. Ash D and vitamin. Thoughts on Conagra now? I don't know. Buddy, you got to be a little more. I don't know. Yeah, and I think those two would be J&J and Microsoft, right? Those would be the two. Still risky. You never know. The CEO of I forget his name, J&J. He's the one that reminds me of the Count from Sesame Street. Oh gosh, I forgot his name. It'll hit me. What's up, Gil? I don't know. Maybe he hates when people call him Gil, and here's me calling him Gil. Gilbert, you bought Nike, SCHD, and Realty Income, and my thoughts on Triple QY. That's interesting. We could look at that. If some of you want to share your thoughts on Triple QY, because those Covered call ETFs. The income ETFs, I've never really dealt with them that much. And I'm highly skeptical of their performance if we had a sustained recession. Oh, there we go. SCHD and VTI. And then look up on Conagra. Okay. So Conagra for John. I was going to say, I don't know what ASHD and vitamin is, man. You're like, Dan's streams are good. I'm glad. Wait, Dex, I'm getting a little bit older here, man. What's OP? Clue me in on that. I know today it's 47 for me, but it felt weird to say that. It feels weird. Not big on birthdays. They're weird. Like I said, for those of you that just joined in, I make light of it and I say, hey, big accomplishment here. I kept my heart beating for another full revolution around the sun. How about that streak that I got going? 47 years strong. And I'd like to keep it going as long as possible. Kind of like Charlie Munger. Don't tell me where I'm going to, or tell me where I'm going to die so I don't go there. Yes, Dan Weston has a channel. Dan, I don't know if you can drop it in the comments or whatever, or just Google Dan Weston. And yeah. Jim, light beer and a tuna salad sandwich. Well, happy Easter dinner for that. Maybe you had an Easter lunch. All right, Adam, you are too young to do nothing, but don't put a ton of effort. And so you're pseudo-retired. You watch the markets instead. Hey, what's up, Ryan? What's up, man? Thank you. And I got to watch one of your videos. I know we talk about it, but it's been too long. All right, let's see what else you guys got going on. Look at this. We'll jump over to news here in a minute. So, yeah, and I don't know. I'm sure a lot of people are with their families, right? I'm here alone. We took 2 cars so I could make sure that I was back to talk with you guys. Oh, look at this. Yeah, I didn't even realize I got my so honestly, Gil, I'm going to push back a little bit. Those of you that watch and know, I am a big dynasty fantasy football player. I've gotten the championship 2 years in a row. I've won it. So one of the players that was a massive help for making me a champion again was the one and only Brock Bowers. So there you go. Now I don't want to lose everyone. I'm not going to go into any of that, but Gil, it's a Las Vegas Raiders. Sure. But technically it's Brock Bowers. Yeah. So, all right. All right, let's see what you guys got. I'm almost caught up, which is what I want to do, right? I always joke around with Kevin, like, man, I asked a question, catch up. Yeah, thank you. You bought SCHD, Lowe's, and Chevron. Yeah, some of those oil stocks had a little bit of rough time recently. And this is why I love you, Dan. This is why I love him. This is triple QY is like all these dumb yield max funds capping gains that collect pennies and lose money exposed to all the downside of the markets while the government taxes the F out of you. Please don't. Dan, it's funny you should say that because I saw a new, what was I reading? I was reading the Blossom weekly newsletter, and one of their sponsored ads was from I don't know if I should say it, Ryan. The one guy we mentioned, he works for this fund, but it's called Battle Shares. The ticker was ELON. And what it does, it's 200% long Tesla and 100% short Ford. So it's like an ultra bet on Tesla versus Ford. And right away I was like, oh no, I have to look at this. So yeah, it's ticker ELON. 1.29% expense ratio. I was like, oh my God. And you're leveraged in 2 directions. The crazy thing is, so for those of you that might not know, you're hoping that Tesla goes up and Ford goes down. But if the flip side happens and Ford starts going up and Tesla goes down, well, now you're paying 1.29% expense ratio to lose money in 2 directions, twice as fast, maybe even extra because I'm just like, oh my God. Like, I got to say, I mean, I don't like it. I don't like it at all. And dude, that's awesome. Bob Barker was the closest to 100 without going over. So, yeah, thanks, man. I appreciate that. And you know what's funny, Ryan? My wife at Costco earlier in the week, we got a 15 pack of the Sour Patch Blue, Sour Patch Red, and the orange cream, I think it is, Ghosts. But the energy drink, I love how they taste. They're 300 milligrams of caffeine, which is way too much for me. It's just, So the way I've found it, my wife found on Amazon these caps, these plastic caps, they snap onto the lid or onto the can, and it got a little flip top on it. 24 hours, I'll drink one can. I love it. I'll take a sip every couple hours and then some the next morning. And it's just, I don't know why I'm telling you this, but I'm a problem solver, people. I solve problems. That's what I do. Well, I guess my wife solved that problem. So, oh, dude, Stan is the best. And I know he was talking about his own channel, but yeah, I didn't even know you had him on. Now I got to go back and watch that. So tomorrow, when I'm sitting in traffic, I'll put it on. I think that's for Ryan, right? What is the cost basis on Zoetis? Yeah, oh, for Christ's sake. Well, Ryan, there's only 52 people watching, and I thought it was. Now I just realized that sometimes things all run together. And I think you texted me that, but I think my brain thought I saw you post that. Man, I owe you when we come to Vegas in October, I owe you something for that one. So my apologies, dude. It just all hit me right now that I'm out there telling people like, oh yeah, he bought Zoetis. So man, you have my sincerest apologies for that one. I don't know how I can pay you back, but I owe you for that. So yeah, leverage funds also have a natural decay. And that's why, right? I did that video and I know a couple people gave me blowback for it and said, you don't understand how to use the yield max funds. And all of them except for, well, even one of them was super close. It was negligible. It was like 0.02% that it was up on the correlated asset or the reference asset, right? So meaning instead of buying TSLY, if you would have just bought TSLA or what's another one, CONY, if you would have just bought Coinbase and not the yield max fund, even with the distributions received, right? Because they don't pay dividends, they pay a distribution, and there's a return of capital mixed in that, meaning you're getting some of your own money back. That's not all bad because it also lowers your cost basis, but still, if I'm investing in something, I really don't want to be getting some of my own money back. And I know that can happen with some midstream companies like MLPX and some of the MLPs, right? The master limited partnerships. But yeah, I that's not the game I'm playing. I don't want to give somebody $1 and then they say they're investing it for me, but then they'll kick me back like 10 cents and say, oh, by the way, 5 cents of that dime I gave you is your money back. So now you actually only gave me 95 cents instead of $1. I'm like, this isn't the game we're playing, So yeah, that's true. Ghost did sell. Man, I got a can out there. I don't want to run and get it, but I think you should check it. I'm pretty sure it's 300. I could be wrong though. That has been known to happen from time to time in my 47 years on this spinning blue ball. All right. Well, we'll just pretend that what was the first time, Pat, that I did that? All right. We got to look up some of these. TSLX. That's almost sounds like I don't know, something to do with Tesla, right? All right, Ryan, take care. Have fun at your dinner. And no more, if I wish I was like Men in Black, I would just do the mind thing that the memory eraser. All right. Dude, 55 of you. We're 30 minutes in. Let's do a little bit of news. and look up a couple of these stocks, tickers that you people want to see. But, oh, here we go. Let's share this. And I know I need to do that. There we go. So where do we leave off, everybody? Well, we left off with realty income, and I know Michael Anthony had been talking about Pfizer. Well, lo and behold, Pfizer just got a big dividend downgrade from Simply Safe Dividends, and part of that was the pipeline drying up. There is regulatory headwinds possibly blowing in, and their weight loss drug really didn't work out at all. So it's a complete bust. People were having too many side effects, and it didn't reduce the weight like it did. But Eli Lilly, I was reading, has that new weight loss drug, and it just looks phenomenal, which is why Novo Nordisk has been dropping. But anyway, so tread with caution if you're thinking about buying Pfizer. So they may be okay in the future, but we don't know. We covered this in a video once, which is Magna, liquid hot Magna. They have a reaffirmed safety score of 70. So they do auto parts. They're Canadian from the Great White North. But if we hit a recession, could be an issue. So that's Magna. J&J, the aforementioned J&J, raised their dividend 4.8%. I'm going to go quick on some of these because there's a lot to get to. So pause the video, or if you're watching this in replay, whatever, if you want to look at that closer. But A.O. Smith reaffirmed their safety score of 99, very safe. And let me blow this up a little bit. Check that out. Their current share price is $63, and they think they should have a share price of 69 to 84. So they could be undervalued. And I think 20, how much is from China? Let me find this. I apologize. There, right there. A.O. Smith has 20 to 25% of its revenue from China. So that is a big issue to look out for and think about with A.O. Smith. I know somebody brought up Flowers Foods before. They actually got a itty bitty teeny tiny dividend downgrade, but they do hit borderline safe from safe. And they owned Dave's Killer Bread and Bubba's Bagels, amongst other things, is Flowers Foods, ticker FLO. Big dividend downgrade from BCE, the Canadian telecom company, 30 unsafe to 20, very unsafe. So they're kind of like an AT&T-ish, I think, of Canada. Yeah, almost a 13% dividend yield. Not sustainable. That's going to be a problem. And the dividend's not that high. It's accidentally that high, meaning the share price has been coming down. A couple more here. Travelers raised their dividend 4.8%, and they could be undervalued. Some more. Boom. Costco. Talked about Costco with the ghost. Raised that dividend 12%. And someday I have a dream that they will be under $800 a share, not including a split. Just, I think the last time they split was 20 plus years ago. So there's Costco, 21st year of dividend raise. Sunoco, ticker SON, 1.9%. Packaging company, little small raise. Kinder Morgan, ticker KMI, 1.7% increase. So they are a midstream company that we were talking about. Kevin, I think you had Stanley Black & Decker once. There is one, though, that I'm sure you've seen it. So Stanley Black & Decker, because of tariff risks, they gave them a dividend downgrade. It's like, oh, you get a downgrade. Refresh their outlook on realty income. They maintain their safety score of 80 safe. This is what Whiskey Tango was talking about, Dow. They are currently at $28 a share, but they have an expected price, according to Simply Safe, of $48 to $59. And the dividend yield, almost 10%. And they have a very strong credit rating. So, hey, this, as Simply Safe summed it up, this could be one that you hold your nose for a couple years. And it's not a set it and forget it, more like a check back in a couple years and see how things are going. And then last one, Kevin, Whirlpool. This was one of yours. I remember they got a dividend downgrade from 50 borderline safe to officially 40 unsafe because the tariff fallout adds pressure to their balance sheet. So I guess we don't need to look. Oh, it's Defiance. That's what it is with the Elon. Come on. Come on, grab. Yeah, interesting. So it's again an enhanced, like Dan, you summed it up beautifully, man. They're at the bottom of their 52-week range. And yeah, they raised their dividend 200%, but the way the stock's been falling, they pay weekly. So that's another gimmick. Yeah, I don't know, man. I wouldn't even bother with it. I don't remember ConAgra, Eric, CAG, John, ConAgra Brands. Real quick here. Oh, interesting. Only 41 borderline safe, but a BBB- credit rating. And that is at the low end of moderately strong. So it's just a little bit above junk grade. And again, junk grade doesn't mean they're junk. It's just the name. And I don't know why they gave it that name, but ConAgra real quick. Let me see the big products they have still. Healthy Choice, Hunt's, Bird's Eye, Slim Jim, and Pam. I'm sure they have more than that, but those actually don't feel like market-leading brands, except for Slim Jim, right? Slim Jim might be one of the few. I know you can see what I'm doing here.
Ooh, yeah, dig it, yeah.
Yeah, Slim Jim, right? Macho Man. Anyway, let's hurry up with ConAgra real quick. Then we'll look up TSLX, but spotty dividend history. I mean, it's been growing for 4 years. They haven't raised the dividend in a while, so it's pretty much frozen, though. So it's weird. They still, Dan, you might remember this off the top of your head. They got a growth streak of 4 years, but it's been a minute since they've raised it. Last raise was in the summer of 2023. So I forget how they can get away with that, where it's technically not a cut, unless they could have done a micro raise and they just showed 35 cents. Could have been fraction of a penny to keep that streak intact. Who knows? But anyway, they show they might be undervalued. Yeah, the yield is way above the 5-year average. Forward PE of only 10.7, meaning you're paying about $10.70 for every $1 of their earnings. Free cash flow payout ratio isn't anything too crazy yet. But, I don't know. Maybe it's just because those brands aren't killer names. They haven't 480 million shares outstanding. Yeah, John, I don't know if you're looking at the yield on that one, but margins are just okay. I don't know. It just, net debt isn't anything crazy. It just looks okay. Like it doesn't knock my socks off. I think I said socks right. That was intentional instead of saying sacks. Like the White Sox. What do we got here with TSLX? Last one, 6th Street Specialty Lending. It's asset management, custody bank. Yeah, sometimes I have trouble understanding these. They offer secured and unsecured loans, mezzanine debt, and equity investments. Yeah, so secured and unsecured, right? I think that means that it's collateralized or uncollateralized. So much riskier if it's unsecured. Mezzanine is like mid-level debt. Again, this isn't my wheelhouse. So if I'm having this much trouble explaining it, go ask Dan. Ask somebody that's an accountant. No, we love you, Dan. But here, the dividend growth, that should tell you. Yucky, spotty, yucky. So they do a bunch of special payouts. Honestly, you would really need to understand. And again, if the tariffs stick, how is this going to affect the businesses that they hold their debt? It takes a little bit more. Like when I looked at Main Street Capital and Ares Capital, are they internally or externally managed? There's a lot of questions to ask for a BDC like this, but honestly, sales are going up. That's nice, but a little bit of dilution. I don't know. I can't give you a definitive yes or no, other than you'd have to look a little bit deeper into it. So Fantastic on that one, right? All right, now I'm back looking at you guys. Yeah, Dow's paying you 10% dividend to wait. That's true. Hey, I'm also getting almost 5% dividend yield from Nexstar Media to wait. Wacka Wait's so good. Wasn't that Idiocracy? Remember the the I can't think of her name. She was a Saturday Night Live actress with the guy. She was playing the former prostitute, and the guy was paying her money to wait for her to not do anything. So the point being, we don't want to feel like him that we're paying money to wait, right? We want to get paid. I don't know. That analogy broke down pretty quick. Pfizer rallied on all the bad news. It's already known. Up only a dime. Yeah, that's, you know what? That's crazy. It could be, and I struggle with that, right? Because in one of the annual meetings, Warren Buffett had said that it's very difficult to predict what drugs that are in a biopharmaceutical company's pipeline are going to be the next blockbusters. So if it's really hard for him to analyze that, then it's going to be really difficult for us if we're not specifically in that business. So the best thing to do is to buy a basket or buy a basket of those companies when they're trading at really cheap prices and then just hold them. Well, Pfizer's at a really cheap price. So I don't know. I mean, maybe it's going to be okay. Maybe they just chop sideways for 4, 5, 6 years and it's dead money. Yeah, I don't know. Well, how do you know? And they make a lot of acquisitions too, right? They try to, was it Seagen? Seagen they acquired for a bunch of money. Matthew, look at you go. VOO, SCHD, Chevron, Target, Amazon, Apple, Google, and NVIDIA. I think you were talking to somebody else. How about me? This week was very light. 1 share of Harrow Incorporated as I work my way to 200 shares of that is what I want. So we're like 196. So a little bit more. And that's my coffee can. I just want to hold it for a lot of years and do nothing with it. It's my one non-dividend investing idea, ticker HROW. They are an ophthalmologic. I think I butchered that word. They do like eye drops, trying to cure things with the eye, dry eye disease. They have cyclosporin that takes care of that. They also, I know, right? Look, I read this stuff. I'm beginning to understand it, but I don't remember the exact names. That's what you get. But they also they numb the eye. They have different pharmaceuticals. It's all around the eye. It's everything with the eye. Cataract surgeries. So UPS raised the penny. They can't afford to pay a dividend, but guessing they pressed. You know what, Adam? That's a super interesting topic because I think it would be better for some companies, right, to have a variable dividend, meaning that it's a percentage of whatever free cash flow or revenue or there's some metric that it's tied to. So when they do really well, the dividend will be really big, really nice. But if they're struggling, the dividend's going to go away or be very minor. And I think it would be a lot better. But again, and it's hard. It's like taking the punch bowl away from a bunch of drunks at a party, right? And it's like 10 o'clock at night. But people rely on it. Income investors rely on it, and companies try and find creative ways, and sometimes it hurts them to maintain that dividend and keep it growing. So, all right. Oh, you bought some Stanley Black & Decker, Adam. Nice. Yeah, the waiting is the Thomas. I can't even. A lot of thoughts rolling around this old noggin, everybody, because I thought of Tom Petty, P-E-T-T-I, or is it P-E-T-I? I forget, the Nike executive, right? He was running down a dream. That's why he went back to Nike. Poor Tom Petty. That's one that I regret never seeing. You know, you have those moments. I always thought I would have the chance to see him live. Never happened. So, but thank God we have recorded technology. YouTube, I can watch live performance anytime I want. Let's see. Here we go. Jim, I got you, man. I got you. But first, one of the things you learned, Adam, was that bad news where a stock doesn't fall in price or good news where it doesn't go higher tells you more than anything else. That is super interesting, and I've never heard it put that way. So, yeah, if that holds true, look out for look out for Pfizer. Jim, you mentioned something about an idiocracy test line.
Welcome to Costco. I love you. Welcome to Costco. I love you.
Beautiful. Thank you, man. It's like you're reading my mind, setting me up on that. Yeah, one of my favorite movies. I love Idiocracy. Just fantastic. No pharmaceutical company wants to cure anything. And it's funny you say that too, because that there's a lot of people that I heard an interview with, don't remember his name. He was on Diary of a CEO, and he was talking about a lot of things and how pharmaceutical companies, it's beneficial for them that people stay sick and or have these maladies, these afflictions that they need to take their medicine for, and you're right, they never really want to cure it. And I don't know, I don't want to be all conspiratorial, but we've heard that where they say that there's a lot of people that make money from cancer research, working in offices, doing a lot of things with cancer. And if we woke up tomorrow and cancer no longer existed, there would be a lot of people out of work, a lot of researchers, a lot of funding, a lot of pharmacists, a lot of, maybe not pharmacists, but you guys know what I'm saying. So it would be fantastic for the world, but there would be a lot of people that would lose a lot of money instantaneously. So, I don't know. I don't know. I would hope not, because I've lost people close to me that have died from cancer, and it would just suck if one day it came out and people were suppressing the cure or the information that would end that. I mean, you'd have a lot of angry people. I would be one of them. Yeah, I think you're talking about the variable dividend, and it's hard. The gun company, Smith and Wesson. I know Smith and Wesson. They have a variable dividend. I think there's a gold mining stock. I don't think it was Barrick. It might have been Barrick Gold. I think that's why I way back when sold out of Barrick Gold, because I was like, I'm like, I want dividend growth. We all want dividend growth, but it's always about the health of the company first, right? If the company can't pay the dividend, if they've run into trouble, that's going to stick around for a few years. What do you want them to do? Like you said, take on debt just to pay you your dividend? Well, that's going to be killing the goose that's laying the golden egg. So I don't know if we'll ever see that. Maybe. Add a position in JEPQ. Dude, oh my God, the time. Yeah, we could look at JEPQ, right? Let me look on Simply Safe real quick. Let me get that fired up here. No, not Simply Safe. Alpha. Seeking Alpha. I have way too many. Oh, hold on here. Oh, I guess we're going to do it the freeway. No, I was all logged out. You know what? We're not going to do it because I had to log out of everything. And yeah, anyway, the point is that I think they're going to struggle because it's going to be really tough for them to write covered calls or synthetic covered calls. The premiums are going to shrink if we're in a steep recession. So I think we're going to see a lot of the covered call, the income ETFs. I think we're going to see them struggle. Rich, it's funny. I never got to finish my thought to John. Well, I emailed you, John, but I said instead of NXRT, it probably would be better to invest in MAA, Mid-America. It just bigger company, less debt. Yeah, they pay a smaller dividend, but they grow it faster. So, oh my God, Michael, you ran the spotlights for Tom Petty. That's pretty funny. How many people have you ever met that ran the spotlights for anyone? It's something I've never done. Did the music still sound good up there? Steve, what's up, man? Welcome back. No problem. All right. Look at I'm caught up to you guys. So what else do you want to talk about? Let me, God bless it. I wish I could log into my, oh, actually, here we go. I did do it. All right. Well, we're going to go, everybody. Sit tight. You're going to be whisked away to the land of Seeking Alpha. Took me a minute there. Okay, here we go. So we wanted to look up, was it JEPQ? How about JEPQ? And then we'll throw in, ooh, the quant gives it a sell. Let me do this, give you guys more real estate. So the quant has JEPQ as a sell, but I want to look at the total return. But the Asian investors gives it a buy on April 17th. So let's do this. You go to charting. I'm not too zoomed in. We're going to, how about we also put in, what was that one? QQQY. The Defiance NASDAQ. And then how about JEPI? Let's see what they, we'll do that. Update the chart. And then we also do Selectrix. I want to do total return because that'll include all the distributions, dividends, and everything. So what are we on? 1 year. JEPQ is only up 4% with dividends received, distributions. S&P 5%. Triple QY, right? Because they're so exposed to the NASDAQ, down 6.5%. And JEPI is actually up 4.2. So, I mean, they've had one hell of a run. It looks like QQQY didn't start trading until September of 23. So that's a bit newer. But yeah, I think, I mean, here, how about year to date, right? What's more accurate since Trump? He's been in what? Well, I guess year to date's close enough. Yeah, they're all negative. I mean, all of them. Now, what happens if we throw in, I know SCHD, right? Everybody's favorite. Let's see what SCHD's done here. That's down 6%. So the best performer out of all of these year to date, interestingly enough, is JEPI, only down 4.8%. But there you go. So JEPQ, the quant thinks it is a sell. Yeah, you asked about JEPQ, right? You did. Jim, you looked at those earlier today, JPI. Yeah, we just kind of answered that. Higher yield, right? They say the higher the yield, the higher the risk sometimes. Ooh, interesting one. Andre Brown, a.k.a. New World Order. I prefer New Order instead, but again, showing my age a little bit there. I don't know what IYRI is. Let's take you. I'll take everybody. Just preempt it. It's going to do it anyway. So that was IYRI. IYRI. Oh, we got some earnings this week. We didn't even talk about it. Neos Real Estate High Income ETF. Well, this isn't going to give me too much information on it other than it. Yeah, there we go. See, this makes me nervous. It uses derivatives such as options to create its portfolio. Okay, I don't know what kind of options. It's very, very new. $6. What is that yield again? 12.5% or 12.4%. You'd need to look deeper. We'd have to do a bit more research. I mean, obviously we're too short on time to give you a real good feel. If anybody has information about that, let us know. So I don't know, man. I don't know if you're chasing that yield, but if that's the thing I would say, if you are attracted, it's okay to be attracted by a dividend yield. And this is my experience, but in the past, when I've tried to find as many ways as possible to say yes to get that high yield, I've been burned. So the smarter thing to do is to try to find a way to kill something, to find as many reasons as you can to not invest in that thing. And it's almost like the Munger inversion principle, right? Instead of saying, what are all the ways I can say yes to this investment? Start with the no's. Try and kill the idea. Do it that way. Gil, you don't have to sell ASAP. It's just the quant, right? The quant doesn't know. Nobody knows the future. Don't sell based on this, but I guess I would say, what was your thesis for buying triple QY? And do you understand exactly how it makes money? And I guess the methodology. So there you go. 2 questions for you, Gil, for your homework for triple QY. And you know what, man? Also, the easy button, ChatGPT, Claude, Perplexity, any one of these, please go and ask it for an unbiased opinion. Ask it to tell you, as a beginner investor, just have it be your initial kill criteria, right? But do you understand how that ETF makes its money, and what is your thesis for buying and holding it? So those are 2 things that you should be able to answer. Look at this. Adam bought some Portillo stock a little while back. That's funny. I've looked at Portillo's. I've met Dick Portillo. I've worked on a door at his house. Real cool guy, but he sold the business a few years ago. But it doesn't. You know what? Screw it, Adam. Let me look, because I don't remember exactly why. They don't pay a dividend, but yeah, I know I don't have to make myself small. It used to do it automatically. I think it's PTLO. Yeah, Portillo's. So it's a small cap company, and currently stock's $11.53. They're trying to expand, but here, free cash flow per share has been coming down. They don't pay that dividend, right? So that's not a concern. Sales growth is still positive. I want to say it went public. This won't tell me, but I think it went public 2 or 3 years ago. Maybe it was in 2020. It's been that long already. But yeah, sales up and to the right. They're diluting a little bit. So see, a little bit of share dilution. And the margins are just, this turned me off. A free cash flow margin of 1%. That means out of every dollar in revenue coming into the business on the top line, only 1% is making its way to free cash flow, right? And if with free cash flow, you can pay a dividend, you can buy back stock, you can make acquisitions, you can carry that as cash on the balance sheet, you can expand the business, reinvest in the business. So free cash flow, I think, is the lifeblood of the business. And 1 penny out of every dollar is really low. That's not a lot of wiggle room until it could potentially go negative. So, and then their net debt is 54%. Not bad. Like to see interest coverage a little bit higher than 224. But yeah, it just, some of those things turn me off about it. And I guess maybe it's a low margin business. Love the food. Don't get me wrong. I love going into Portillo's, and it almost makes me sad that I don't want to buy the stock. So right there, that was a little way, Gil, if you're still watching, that I was trying to find a way to kill, like, what's a huge red flag? And for me, it was share dilution. So they're bringing out more shares, and the 1% free cash flow margin is so low. It just, wasn't that bad, but I guess I should say it's not terrible, but I don't get the warm and fuzzy from it. And I'd love the warm and fuzzy like I get from a Costco or a Visa, but MasterCard, some of the stocks I shared, like TJ Maxx, Cintas, Zoetis, we talked about on the last video. So, by the way, I hope you guys got some use out of that video. It's been a really crazy busy week for me. So I know I shouldn't share this behind the scenes stuff, but that video I threw together kind of quick. I have a spreadsheet with topic ideas, and sometimes when I'm in a time crunch, I'm like, okay, what can I do kind of quick? And, but I think there's still some useful things that was shared there. I appreciate that. And dude, everybody, where the hell does the time go to, right? Where does it fly? Let's see. Yeah, and that's a good point though. Um, I think you're talking still about Portillo's. They need to be spending on growing, and they do want to expand, not internationally. They want to expand, right? I think I read they were trying to put restaurants in Arizona, somewhere. I think it was maybe one other place on the East Coast, but they're trying to grow the brand, grow the concept. And you're right. And this is what makes it risky. That what if it doesn't work out? What if they burn a crap load of cash trying to expand and take on a lot of debt and it just doesn't work out? That could be, it could really cause the business to stagnate for many, many years. It could be dead money. So I know a lot of investors like to look for waiting for that business, not investing before the turnaround, but investing when it looks like the growth is starting to happen, like it's starting to take off. I did that with Hero Incorporated, and so far, it's been good. It's been good with that. So, but again, Portillo's, boy, I love their food. I love I won't get started. I get hungry, even though I ate a bunch of food for Easter here. So I love it. But you know what I love more than Portillo's food? You. You feel like what was that PBS? This show is made possible by viewers like you. I think that was what they used to say on WTTW here in Chicago. So yeah, without you guys, I may still do it, just be talking to nobody. I don't know. Maybe that happens someday, but that day is not today because you guys were so kind to hang out with me to the end. And I know I love all you guys. So I do appreciate it. I do thank you for coming on by, and I'll do it again next week. So if you want to swing by, bring a stock to check out, and go check out Dan Weston. Adam Kahn has a channel. Check out some of these other creators. So love you for that, and I'll see you guys next week. So long, everybody.